Hello, welcome back to Behind the Faders, the live sound channel. Today's topic was a bit inspired by a coaching call that I had a few days ago because one of the things we talked about in that call was how to handle drums that are way too loud. And when I say drums, it's always the snare drum and sometimes it's the cymbals, but it's mainly the snare drum really. Uh, and what you can do about it. I mean, first of all, it depends on the situation, of course. If you are a local sound engineer and you have bands coming in for a one-off, and then at soundcheck, it turns out that the snare is way too loud in the room, then you have limited options, to be honest. I don't recommend talking to the drummer about it and trying to make him play quieter because, first of all, you're probably not the first to tell him that. And if he still doesn't do it, then he's just reluctant or he just can't do it. It's not easy for a drummer to play quieter while maintaining groove and feeling and timing. It's a technique. It's not just not hitting the drum as hard. So he might not be able to do it or he might not be willing to do it. So all you create is like a bad vibe. So don't do that. The only thing that you could do, you could try, I talked about that in a short already. If you take that snare drum off your mix bus and use that channel only to send the snare drum to a reverb, and now bring up a reverb, that might help a little because a reverb makes us think that something is further away from us than it really is. So the snare is still way too loud, but now it might appear to be at least a bit further away from us and more connected to the rest of the mix. You can give it a try. Other than that, not really. You might have to live through it. But if you are in a position where you are with a band on tour and you have that problem constantly, or you are working in the same room with the same band all over again, like worship sound in a church or something, uh, you have a few more options. But now the big question is everybody around you aware of that problem and willing to help fixing it, including the drummer? Or is everybody just pointing at you and saying, you're the sound engineer, you have to fix it? That makes a big difference because to fix it, you will need some cooperation. You can't fix it on your own. So what are the options? Well, first of all, you can, if possible, try a different snare drum. Instead of a brass snare, try a wood snare. That might help a little. Then just to get this out of the way, there's always plexiglass, but that's a really expensive method because you need a full enclosure with a lid on top. And we're talking like at least €1,000 or so. Another option might be an electronic snare drum. I mean, there are models that look like a real snare drum, but they are electronic. That might be an option. Or maybe if the drummer is willing to help solving the problem, he might learn to play quieter over time. So nothing really satisfying to fix the problem like flip of a switch or something. But that's all there is. However, there's one thing you could try that nobody really thinks of, but it can be helpful in some way. Because if your drums are off to the side of the stage, put them in the center. Of course, they're still too loud, but now at least they are in their, let's say, natural acoustic habitat, so to speak. Because we expect to listen to drums from the center of the stage or the audio signal, unless you listen to an old Beatles record. I mean, think about it. Let's say the drums are off to the right of the stage. Now, the people on the very left side of the stage hear them from way over there, and they may be a little out of the pay in front of them, but they are probably in the best possible position. And people in the center still hear them from way over there, which is kind of distracting. And the people in front of the drums on the right side hear nothing but drums. And if the drums are in the center, at least now people have both PA sides to cover it up a little bit at least. And yeah, like I said, there are where they belong acoustically. That makes it a little bit better. I know that many people don't want to do this because it looks too rock and roll for them. But in any environment that is small enough that you hear a lot of drums coming from the stage directly, it's a terrible idea to put them anywhere else but in the center. Try it out and tell me how it went. So, again, nothing really satisfying, kind of baby steps. If you have another idea how to fix it, let me know. If you have questions about this, let me know. And if you have a lot of questions, consider booking a coaching call. The email address for that is in the video description below. That's it for today. Bye bye.